Welcome to another episode of Fuck Your Job. I'm Ron Worley.
And I'm Josh Fullenweider.
Fuck your job.
Hey guys, Ron Worley here with my friend
Josh Fullenweider.
And we're going to talk about development deals.
Yeah, because you've been working on one for a while, and we did that construction project together.
Yep. So, and I just want to preference this with, I've got great partners that have done most of the work so far.
Okay.
As you know, right off the bat, an engineer does a lot of the work.
Yes.
He's going to do the majority of the work.
Yes.
And so I think it's okay to say Chris Pickett is the engineer, same guy, you know him.
Yeah, I met Chris, he's very intelligent.
Yeah, so but what we're doing right now is the due diligence on getting water put together. So with developing, there's a lot of factors to think about. Water is one of the biggest ones. So he's drawn up the plans. We've taken those to the city. You need ingress, egress. You need to know what's going to be around you. So we have a subdivision to the south that's going in eventually. It's been planned for months, years, but has not been built. So we're kind of leery about that. And then to the west of us, we have another subdivision that's flourishing. But the property values are pretty low. Now our plan was to have nice 1 acre lots with $1 million homes with a beautiful view of the mountains. That can't necessarily happen because the price of the land is $2.9 million. Yeah.
How many lots will you fit in there?
Well, so we changed it up to where we're going to do quarter acre lots.
Okay.
And we're going to get somewhere around 110 to 120 lots out of it. So
Okay.
we'll get 90 quarter acres, and then we'll have 1 acre lots. There'll be somewhere between 10 and 20.
Okay.
And our goal was to sell all the 90 acre lots and for us to keep the 20 acre lots for ourselves, the 21 acre lots for ourselves. That was the big ultimate plan. Things have changed, so now we have an ingress egress problem.
I've heard that kill deals before.
And it's so, dude, it's super frustrating. First thing we did is we went to the seller, and the way these things work out, you don't necessarily pay cash up front for something like this, okay? I mean, you're talking $2.9 million, which is a little bit overpriced. It's worth about 2.2, 2.3 if you just cashed out.
Right.
But with land deals, 99% of the time, the seller holds on to that until you've entitled the property.
Right.
And what that means is that you've got the plans drawn out, the city's okayed it, you've gone through the process with them, you've got your ingress, egress, you've got all the development ready to go. And so now you have a lot and water coming to each lot. The water is dedicated. Again, hard process to do, to find water. And all that, you package that up.
Find cheap water.
Right. There's no way to find cheap water anymore. But there's ways around the cheap water, and we can get into that. But anyway, so we're doing, so our goal was to go to the seller and say, hey, give us a year and a half and we'll purchase it at your 2.9, but hold it for us. That's ours. We'll be under contract. And then we'll get it entitled and we're off to the races. That gives us a year and a half to find money to get things going.
Right.
The seller turned us down. He wants a cash out.
Okay.
So
there's 1.7 then.
Yeah, exactly. But still, 1.7 is hard.
That's a lot of money to
Right.
find, yes.
Right. Not for a land deal, that's really cheap, but for people who don't, like, for Chris, he's done this 1 million times, and he's like, yeah, it's nothing. To me, I'm like, that's 1.7 million. I don't care how you slice it.
Yeah, I don't care where it comes from. That's a lot of money.
And that's just the buying the land. You still got to develop it. So double that. It's going to cost $3 million to develop it, and then on top of that, you've got your water issue, which is going to be another 2.5 for that.
Yeah. Area. So now, when you say develop it, you mean all the dirt work and then putting in water, road, sewer, power, electrical, all the utilities.
Yep, all that has to be done, and the roads is, so we were trying to get around curb and gutter because we're out there. We thought we could just do
like
asphalt.
this, yeah.
And that would be fine for the 1 acre lots, and we still may do that. But some of the challenges we're finding, ingress, egress is a big one. The water is expensive. Getting with the city and having them sign off on our plan out in the middle of nowhere, right next to a beautiful neighborhood with these $1 million homes, $2 million homes in it. It's hard to just plant $400,000 homes next to them. The surrounding area is not going to be happy with that. We think we can work around all that, and we've got pre-sold those 1 acre lots.
Okay.
Or those quarter acre lots. So that's 90 of them that are pre-sold. We still don't have the 2.9, and the guy's not budging. And he just got somebody looky-looing is talking to their bank and claims he's going to make an offer, which I don't think he will.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can't give away our strategy here.
Yeah.
And what's coming down the pipeline, but if we can hang in there another couple of weeks, we should be able to make a good offer on this thing.
Okay.
But it's interesting trying to find money. You know, we brought on a money guy, Samson Jorgis from Growthview. He does that. He pulls people together for money. I don't know what it is, but we haven't found money. Like a straight up, here's money, let's do this. And it's a big payoff. If you come in with your $2 million, you're going to make $1 million. Like developing is great.
Yeah.
There's big money in it.
So from my experience, the first bank I worked at was big in development pre 2008. And 2008 happened, and they got screwed. Like, they were sitting on so much development property. As a result of that, financing, just a land purchase for development, we required 40% down.
Oh, wow.
Easily. Now that was, 14, 15, 16, and we were still sitting on lots and non-prime real estate. We were financing in places, development deals in places that people didn't actually want to live.
Right.
So that was the bank's fault. But 40% down, I think you can get 30, 20% down type of stuff. But it's never going to go as fast as you think, because I then had done a few smaller developments, like 6 acre deals. One took about 2 years, and that was 6 lots. And another was 8 lots. As far as I know, they still haven't finished that deal out. And it's really just issues with the city. They're not communicating well with the city. And these are in smaller municipalities.
Yeah.
So your Gilchrist, Eaton, Kersey type of places.
Yep. So
the cities themselves don't have engineering departments like Greeley does.
Right.
So they can't just be like, oh, hand it here. Now it's the board. The town board has to review it.
Right.
Because they don't have a process for reviewing things.
Right.
Go along with that, while I was working at that same bank, just down the street, guy developed out this farmland. 100 lots, got it all done, and put it up for sale. Had a full price offer on it. And it was like a Journey Homes buying the lots. So company with a lot of money. Journey went to town and said, that's great, there's no water there. So bring us the water, but we won't okay the deal until the water's committed to the town. Deal was off, because the water was going to be twice the cost of the lots.
Right. That's a big problem with it.
Yeah. I did have a question for you. So have you guys looked into setting up a metro district to help?
Yes. So we're on the fence with the metro district. A little bit of that depends on the water. It makes sense to do a small metro district that goes for 5 to 7 years, rather than an ongoing, keep renewing it. It would be a temporary metro district. Now, on the flip side, I'm kind of my opinion is we keep it ongoing because that's part of our profit. Because once you've paid things off, you've maintained things, there's also an HOA. The HOA can take care of the maintaining.
Yeah. Usually they go hand in hand, so it's
Right.
not just two separate entities, because I don't know if everybody out there has dealt with metro districts or not.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I live in one right now. I think it's less restrictive than an HOA, but they still have covenants and guidelines
Right.
and things you've got to follow.
So you don't have an HOA on top of your metro?
No.
Oh, okay. So that's perfect.
Yeah.
The good thing is that it's a separate company from what you're doing. So you actually get management fees. There's
Right.
a little bit of money to share with your partners there.
It's minimal at first, though.
Right.
And you do have to manage the residents. So right now, my metro district is looking at repaving all of our alleys.
Perfect.
So our metro district fees, as far as I know, never went down after they paid off all the infrastructure. They've just kind of been collecting that money still, and now they're thinking, okay, now we've got to repave the alleys.
And
they
they're
do all
gonna-
the maintenance in the
Yeah.
like. They do a lot of work in our neighborhood.
Well, so it keeps the neighborhood beautiful. And
Yes.
where I'm at out there, we have a nice pond area. We have plans for that, and you don't just go and build a beautiful park area that's completely done and ready to go, and millions of dollars into this park area. That's something you plan for, and once it's built out, you save the money and you build these things. There's still a management fee with that.
Yeah.
So there's some crust to take off.
Yeah, and for the people out there that don't know, a metro district can issue bonds.
Yes.
Which is the real thing. Really nice thing, because you can get lower interest rates, and essentially the metro district fees, which are paid by your taxes, not a separate thing. You actually pay your fees through your taxes every year.
Right.
And then that money goes to pay off the bonds.
Right.
So your risk on being exposed on a loan is much less.
Right. So you're getting a bond, and it's cheaper, and you're able to do big shots of work through the bonds, and then pay it off through the taxes. Yeah. All I cared about was that we have it's going to sound greedy, but there's a revenue stream that managing it gets you a little revenue. And to me, even if it's $5 a month,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah. Especially like once you get it set up, you can even hire a professional property management company.
Right.
They manage it, and then you're not even hiring people to go out and do maintenance.
Right.
Somebody else you've now hired the position that hires the position.
Right. Yeah, it's a pretty sweet deal. And now the problem is a lot of people don't like metro districts. They've got a kind of a bad name. If you look at Water Valley Metro District,
Oh yeah.
I mean, no, they're doing great. Like that's a perfect example of a good one. A lot like yours. I'm sure it's not the same. You're not Water Valley over here.
No.
But-
Just our tiny little neighborhood is its own little metro district.
Oh, okay. All right. So, but that's a great example. Look at all the amenities they have with the golf course and
Oh, yeah.
I mean the lakes, and I mean it's like a little resort over there, and it's a big resort actually.
Yeah.
So and I don't know how
you're
much
paying for it in those metro district fees.
Yeah, but I think it's 1% thereabouts. So, your taxes are up, but it's a great deal. You don't have to pay HOA, but except for I know in ours we pay an HOA as well. So,
Okay, so and where you're living at now in Water Valley?
where we're gonna live in Water
Oh,
Valley, so it would be an
okay.
HOA plus Metro, I believe. So,
Yeah.
but the HOA covers like trash and water and snow removal and blah blah blah. It's different.
Well, that's nice. Like my metro district doesn't cover that, obviously.
Oh, right.
Yeah, theirs is strictly big maintenance. So we've got a lot of green space in my neighborhood, and they take care of all of that.
Right. And you're happy to do that,
Yeah.
right?
And we've got a dual water source here. So the city water for tap water.
Yeah.
And then all the outside watering is on a separate tap that's managed by the metro district.
That's something you just brought up that I was going to say something earlier. The way we've managed the water for this development, is they're selling quarter taps. So,
Okay.
they're small lots, quarter-acre lots. You don't need a lot of water for that. And we also have the lake up above in there that can water the grounds on we got non-potable water to water the outside.
Right.
That's free. It's rainwater. So,
Well, free to you, not free to the people you're going to be billing for it.
correct. Probably right. Yeah. But the quarter taps keeps the price down to like 20 grand a lot. Versus when we did, it was 65,000 or 60,000.
Well, it was 36 when we bought it.
Oh,
and
that's
like
right.
2 months later, they raised it to 50.
Right, and now it's at 62.
Yeah.
And you can buy a half tap there, but if you want to water your outside, they had no non-potable water source. So
we had a full tap there for $36,000.
yeah, that was
they got a good deal.
Yeah.
I know the buyers, they had some concerns and everything, but they got a good deal on
They
that.
did, yeah. There was an extra 30 grand in there that they didn't have to pay. So
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the way you get around it. Is now you can do quarter taps, which seems ludicrous, but really you don't need more than that. Family of 4 can.
Yeah,
live
that's a
on
lot of water. So.
Yeah,
But like you said, the big thing is once you go outside, there's not enough for watering your grass.
Right.
So.
right. Yeah, so you need a second source, non-potable water. Yeah. So yeah, that's a fun game. The development game is. I still don't know much. I'm just following Chris's lead, and I'm waiting for my job to kick in.
Yeah.
With selling homes and lots and things like that. But
Yeah. So unfortunately, I knew one of my first people I worked for post-college, they had been they had invested in a development, and they invested just about everything they had into the development. And that was in 2006 or so.
Okay.
And it took a while, and then by the time it was ready to sell, they lost everything. So
yeah,
be prepared to sit on land.
right.
You got to be prepared that you could be in a development deal for 10 years.
Yeah.
Like it could just work out that way.
Well, the one we backed out of was looking like that. Remember the one in Greeley that you and I were going to do with Chris?
Yeah. Well, and the biggest concern I had with that one is it ended up being it was next door to, I think it was the Greeley Guest House.
Yep.
Which right at that time got converted to a halfway house.
Right.
So $1 million homes next to a halfway house.
Didn't make sense, especially $1 million home in Greeley. And at the time, maybe a little bit different now, but I don't think so. At the time, $1 million homes just don't sell in Greeley.
No.
And that one was off the highway, not the highway, but a pretty major thoroughfare. There's 70,000 cars a day going by on those corners. So, and then it turned out another construction company called me in and wanted to know why we didn't do the deal. And they also were about to turn down the deal. And we were missing a whole bunch of stuff that they did not miss. So it was just pure coincidence.
Well, we didn't get too far along with it.
We didn't. But they had all the retaining walls built out because that's a hill. And it's really cool to put a house on a hill, but every time you drop levels, you had to have a retaining wall. And it was... And I saw their plans, and I went, yeah, I'm glad we didn't do that.
Wow, and we would have discovered that because Chris was going to do the plant, engineering. He would have figured all that out at some point. So.
But right off the bat, you could tell we were going to hold on to that thing for 10 years, trying to sell $250,000 lots in Greeley, waiting for someone to want to buy a minimum $800,000 home.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was going to take a long time.
Yeah, and we were going, to try to build out some, do a home or two ourselves to get some activity going in there. But man, that was going to be a 10-year hold.
Yeah. Imagine having your money wrapped up for 10 years.
Imagine making loan payments on $1 million+
Right.
over 10 years.
10 years. Yep. I know.
Now typically a development will get 60% sold out, and then by that point the bank has been paid off.
Yeah.
The bank wants paid off quick, so they take a bigger chunk of everything up front, and then
you make your money on the end.
Yeah.
So I also tried to I had Chris look at a development deal with fourplexes, and what shot us in the foot there. Well, everybody wants too much for their land. That's a big thing right now. They think their land is worth top dollar, and it probably is, but you're not making crap. Like the margins are much, much lower now. But on that one, they had to put a water retention ditch right down the middle of the property, and took away like 3 duplex or 4plexes right out of the middle of the property. Like you couldn't put anything on either side, and so it literally tore our property like a quarter of it was gone, and that was all the profit.
Yeah.
So bye.
Yeah, no point in that.
Somebody bought it though, and now they're building there.
Yeah. What I've seen a lot out here, because we have obviously we've got a lot of oil and gas pipelines underground. And that was one of the issues they had out in that Pelican Lake Ranch, was all the oil and gas. So that's why that took, that place still isn't 10% built out, and it's been going for 20 years.
Right.
But there's a lot of pipelines underground, and a pipeline in the wrong spot will kill a deal. There was some land over by the bank, 4 acres right in the middle of Greeley, great for development, but there was a pipeline underground, you couldn't see it, so people would offer, like for years they were doing stuff on it. Finally they were able to split the land and sell part of it.
Right.
And I'm assuming eventually they'll sell the other half of it, but yeah, you just can't do anything.
Right.
And like you said, it eats into your profit.
Eats into the profit, and we know that just from one house, how quickly eating into the profit can take away, the big money payday.
Well, and like you get a lot of realtors who don't know what they're doing, saying, "Oh yeah, your land's worth that."
Yes.
Not realizing that it needs a ditch to be, or there's a pipe underground or something. So really, your 100 acres really isn't 100 usable acres. It's about 70 acres that you can actually use.
Right. And I think if I ever get a land deal like that, I would have Chris build out my plans.
Yeah.
Somebody I trust, in other words, that's going to make sure that I've got all my, you got to invest some money in this, you know, to sell it.
Yeah.
And then I would talk to my seller and tell them, you're not going to get a cash payout. Expect to be, strung along for a year and a half. So, you find a good team of people that will work with you, and you make a lot more money at the end of it. Because for what we were trying to give right off the bat, we were going to give them a percentage of the sales too. So you get your land cost plus a percentage of the sales of the lots. But you have to wait a year and a half for us to entitle it and get it sold.
Yeah.
There's lots of ways to skin a cat, but I think really, and I hope the wrong people don't see this, but an inexperienced land development buyer is going to get screwed.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. If you go in and just, I'm going to make $1 billion on this one with 2.9 million. Here's your 2.9 million.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah. Well, like I said, a fast development takes 2 years.
Yeah. Minimum.
10 years, much more likely. And then I've seen other, like I said, we were in that one, and it's 20 years down the road, and it's still struggling along. But, it's a beautiful area. People should definitely move out there.
Yeah.
But the water's too much.
Yeah, now it is. And I think that's a mismanagement on the realtors' side too. They're stagnant. We've got $300,000 homes on a 5-acre lot or 2-acre lots. Yeah, that's not smart.
No, they should be a minimum of 550.
Right. Ours sold real quick.
Ours sold at 550. We had a lot of interest, a couple of different offers.
And it's a beautiful home. It's a ranch style. It's on a 2-acre lot, horse property. How that is not being just scooped up.
And we put internet into ours.
Yes.
That was I remember the Excel being out there. Well, do you want us to run the internet line also at the same time? I'm like, well, how much is it? They're like, it's going to be like $1,000. I'm like, well, how much is it if I don't? Well, they're like, well, if we have to come back, we have to retrench and everything, and you're looking at $5. Do it.
Dummies. Oh my
Everybody needs internet, so especially now in Corona. So
and I think if we were to manage that place out there in Platteville ourselves, we would do much, much better at it. And
and I like them. They were nice people, but they would make more money if they sold out that subdivision in the next 6 months.
Yeah.
At a much less reduced cost.
Right.
And reinvested that someplace else. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, if you sold those lots for 20 grand, 25 grand to a builder.
Yeah. Get some activity going on there, because right now people are like, oh yeah, that is still out there.
Yep. Well, and the reason I think management killed it out there, at least for now, dealing with them out there. Actually, I think I told you me and Dennis were trying to go.
Yeah.
And we had 2 deals in the process, about to sign, and the person running it out there killed it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and we probably would have done another one if it weren't for the water and the land went up.
Right.
You know, we paid 80 for a lot, and by the time we sold a year later, they were wanting almost 100 for a similar lot.
Yep.
They're like, well, they're making money, let's charge more.
Right.
I'm like,
That's not how it works.
no. Like, if you want us to build more, we still need to be able to make money, and water just went up 30 grand.
Well, and I think if you got with a big company like Richmond or somebody that wanted to be out there, because Bessler was out there.
Yeah.
They left because of the management, and it wasn't making them enough money to deal with that.
No.
But if you went out there and just said, hey, all right, 35,000 a lot.
Yeah, I'll take 100 lots for 35 grand a piece.
Right. Easy.
And they'd probably say no, because it wouldn't get them enough money.
Right. It's their onesie twosie, as I would be thinking big picture.
Yeah, like
Sell a lot.
let's sell a lot. Let's get some activity, because that development's got land for a school. Mm-hmm. I think there's some commercial property there that can be developed at some point too, because you figure
You're out in the middle of nowhere.
you're out in the middle of nowhere, and it's more like they're going to need a grocery store out there. Like, that's the plan, is there's enough commercial that they can plop a grocery store and a few little shops.
Yep.
And it's going to be its own little town, because that development is going to be larger than the rest of Platteville.
Right.
If it ever gets built out.
So that is a situation where they're stuck in the onesie twosies. They're worried about you and I building out there more than they're worried about expanding the bigger picture. Like, fill it up. And maybe they have the owner who is saying, no, I want this much. This is what we have to have, and that's fine. It keeps the growth slow.
Yeah.
That's what they want to do. But
see, and if that's what you're doing, though, you'd be like, hey, no, we're going to approve the houses from here on out, and you cannot price a house less than $1 million.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
We can go, you're talking, let's see, 2-acre lots, $120,000 for the buy right now on a 2-acre lot, plus 60 you're in it for 180. Yeah, about the only thing that makes sense is $1 million home.
Yeah.
But they're allowing people to go out there and build a $400,000, like an individual to go buy a lot and build their own home, and it's a $400,000 home.
Right. Much smaller, much slower growth plan.
Yeah. I mean, I would have loved to have gone out there and build a slightly bigger floor plan and charge $650,000, $700,000, but the comps out there didn't support it.
Right. Yeah.
So.
No, you're right. I think we busted the roof on that, on the comps out there. Everybody said we wouldn't get 550, and we did.
Yeah. Well, and now, like, we were a little bit worried about getting it, but we thought, we're like, well, per square foot, it still was really cheap.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
per square foot, you move a little bit closer in any direction, really, to Denver or Greeley, and the per square foot was easily $150 a square foot.
Right.
And we were top of the market at $136.
Yeah.
So the
God, it's a sweet area out there.
I would, if the management could control the end product a little bit better, homes that are only going to be worth $150 a square foot, they would sell out really quick.
Yep, I agree. And lower the lot prices.
Yeah. Well, I guess I never understood why they raised the lot prices. So
Again, it's the smaller-minded thinking. They don't want to grow out. They want to sell. They want to make So for them, it's residual income. I got to sell 2 lots a month, and I'm going to make this much money every month. Not, I'm going to sell this many over a year. You know, that they're thinking today and today only.
Well, I knew when we first looked at it, there was a listing out there that you could buy the whole thing for $16 million.
Right.
And I was just like, that's a lot of money, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like we looked at the numbers, there was so many lots out there that, and you know, parts of phases that still needed curb and gutter and all that stuff. But it really made sense. Like if you were a builder and could buy $16 million, but it's in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
That was the big thing.
Yeah.
That's why nobody was doing it.
I still think if I had 16 million or a group with 16 million, we can make it work.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody got 16 million bucks? We're just rambling on here, but
Yeah.
can you get us 16 million?
I think if we offered 12, they might take it.
They might take it, yeah.
Yeah, so
There was like a couple hundred lots out there too, so more than that.
left that were developed.
Yeah,
But
another 200 or 300 over
they
south.
had phases that weren't even open yet.
Yeah.
So that weren't,
Which I think they were robbing Peter to pay Paul. They didn't have any investment money left, so they were having to get 85,000 a lot or 100,000 a lot to be able to do this next.
yeah.
Which makes sense, but
Yeah.
it's a slow process.
If you could just go in 50,000 a lot, I'll take 100 lots for $50,000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, you can make a lot of money out there still.
Yeah, man, that would be fun too.
Oh man, that'd be a blast. I don't know that Dennis wants to build any more for us though.
He's trying to get out of the game.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, got to find the lots first, I guess.
yeah. Anybody got money they want to throw us our way? We know how to make it.
Yeah.
Make more.
All right. See you guys.
Join us on Facebook at The Jobless Legion or subscribe to our YouTube channel and like, comment, and share.
So that we can get the message out to aspiring entrepreneurs just like you.
Thank you.